welcome back. So I thought for today's video we would do swapping my screen time with reading. However, I'm not going to do the hours I spent on my phone because that would be very difficult with working full time. So we're going to do how many times I picked up my phone. I will read that amount of pages for that day. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just looking now, and on Sunday last week I picked up my phone. Will that load? Maybe I'll put a screenshot in. But I picked up my phone 100 times. So I need to read 100 pages today. And the book I'm currently reading, I actually started this yesterday, is Still Beating by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is actually on my November TBR, which is good. So we get this one off the list as well. And I'm only 107 pages in currently. I don't really have many thoughts and opinions, to be honest. I didn't really know what to expect going into it because I actually didn't even read the back of the book. So if you've not read this, I'll quickly read you the back so you're aware of the plot. So it just says, when Cora Lawson attends her sister's birthday party, she expects at most a hangover or a walk of shame by the end of it. She doesn't anticipate a stolen wallet, leaving her stranded and dependent on her sister's fiancé, Dean Asher, her arch nemesis and perpetual thorn in her side. She really doesn't anticipate getting knocked out and waking up chained in a madman's basement, Dean in his own shackles beside her. After 15 years of teasing, insults and never-ending pranks, the ultimate joke seems to be on them. The two people who always thought they'd end up killing each other must now work together if they want to survive long enough to escape. But Cora and Dean don't know that their abductor has a plan for them, a plan that will alter the course of their relationship, blur the lines between love and hate and shackle them to each other long after they are freed from their chains. They're in this together no matter what their unexpected bond might cost them. So I had no idea that there was an abduction, kidnapping, that kind of thing, and it happens very early on. I think it happens in like chapter 2. So when I was reading this I was like, okay, this is going in a very different direction than I thought. I for some reason thought this was just going to be some sort of romance, so it's not what I anticipated, but let me tell you, it's gripping. Like, I have not been able to put this down, so I'm having a really good time with it. I actually started reading it this morning, so we have already started working through the pages for today. I started on page 81, so I'm currently on page 107. So I've only read like 26 pages of the 100 we need to today, but yeah, I'm enjoying this one. It's definitely, as I said, not what I expected, but I feel like it could be a fun read. I say fun lightly because obviously it's quite a traumatic thing that's happening. It's not the happiest of situations, but I feel like it is a very gripping book currently. So this is the current book we're going to start reading, and yeah, hopefully by the end of today we will have read the 100 pages. Hello everyone, so I thought I would do a quick update because it is now, what time is it, 5:30 on Sunday, and I've actually read to page 191. So I feel like I'm nearing the halfway mark, but that means I have in fact read, well, I read over, but we have hit the 100 page goal for today, which is great. So I'm glad to say we've done it for the first day. I don't know what the other days are going to look like for the rest of the week, but we've started out strong and we have hit the number of pages we needed to. As for an update in this book, it is still interesting, it's still gripping me. It's definitely like a forbidden romance, which I wasn't aware of, but I kind of got that idea as I was reading, and definitely more so now. I don't really want to say too much because obviously I don't want to ruin it, but I will say the situation with them being abducted kind of was resolved quicker than I thought. So I feel like that is not, obviously that's a very key point in the book, but I think they got out, when did they get free? Probably at like 100 pages maybe. So we still have obviously a lot to go, but there's like 400, hold on, let's see how many pages are in this book. 406 pages, so we still have a long way to go. So I'm intrigued to see where the story takes us, because at first I thought we'd maybe be with them being kidnapped the whole book, but that is definitely not the case. So yeah, but so far I am enjoying it, and I probably am going to read on, but I want to take makeup off, I want to put a face mask on, I just want to chill because it's Sunday night and I just want to like get like mentally mentally unwind for next week, and I don't know how many pages we're going to be reading tomorrow. I might check now. Maybe I'll do this now because I will be working tomorrow morning. So let's have a look and see how many pages we'll be reading tomorrow on Monday. So tomorrow on Monday we need to read 147 pages. So I feel like that's quite doable. I feel like that's not crazy. I will be obviously working the full day, but I feel like I can potentially get the 147 done, fingers crossed. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, we will try and read 147 pages. Hello everyone, so I thought I would quickly update because I actually haven't checked in at all today. It is currently Monday and I had 147 pages to read today, and I started on page 230, and to read the 147 I'd have had to read to page 377. However, I actually ended up finishing this book, so I read to page 406. So this is, hold on, I will show you how much I've read today. Yeah, we've read this much and we finished, still beating, so that is quite a good success. I feel like we finished that quite quickly. Overall rating wise, I've given it a 3.5. I feel like it was a really interesting read, and I really did enjoy the way the story kind of concluded and came together. I feel like, I don't want to say anything that gives it away, but I feel like the conclusion and the way things were dealt with towards the end of the book felt very realistic. They felt very real, and it was the way things were handled was the correct way to do it, whereas in some books I feel like it goes down a different path. I will say there is a lot of toxic behaviour in this book, but it's all trauma related. It is all very real, it's very raw, it's very emotional, the things that Dean and Cora went through. Horrific. It is not a light read. If you are someone that could potentially get triggered by things, I would check your trigger warnings. I'm not going to say what the trigger warnings are because I personally like to go in without them, because luckily I don't really get triggered by much, and I kind of feel like it gives away what happens in the book. However, if that's something you're worried about, please do read the trigger warnings, because as I said, I had no idea what this book was about. I picked it up blindly based on hearing a lot of people rave about it. So I had no idea about the trauma and just the whole plot, pretty much. But I still enjoyed it. I still had a good time. It wasn't quite 4 stars, purely because I felt like the pacing, I always have such an issue with pacing. Maybe it's my attention span, because I feel like the last few books I've read I've been saying the pacing, but yeah, the pacing just wasn't quite there, and there were a few things that kind of annoyed me a little bit. Not massively, just a small bit, but I still had a really good time. I mean, I finished it very quickly. When did I start this? Saturday, and it's now Monday, so it's taken me 3 days to read it, which is pretty fast. I feel like that's pretty good. Also, it was just so fun to read because it was like, this is the floppiest book ever, so reading it, it was like the most comfortable book to read ever. So that being said, I am going to pick my next read, which I've already decided what we're going to read next. It is another one off my October. It's another one off my November TBR. So we're going strong. This will be the 3rd one off my November TBR, so I'm pretty proud. But that is Rose in Chains by Julie Soto, I believe. It's actually on my Kindle, but my Kindle's over there at the minute, so I can't be bothered to go and get it right now. I'm going to tell you what it's about, but it's got quite a long synopsis, so I'm going to try summarise this as best as I can. I will say this has been advertised to me as very similar to Alchemized, which is my favourite read of the year, so this is kind of why I want to read it right now. I'm desperate for a 5-star, I'm desperate just to feel things. Also, it's 464 pages. I thought it'd be much longer for some reason, but it is the first one in a trilogy, so I am going to be starting another series with none of the other books out yet, but it's fine. Anyway, so this says, the war is over, the dark forces have won, and the hero who is supposed to save them is dead. Okay, it already sounds very, very similar to Alchemized. Captured as her castle is overrun by the enemy, Bryony Rosewood knows that the world as she knows it has changed forever. The dark forces of Beaumard have won, and her people, the Ever Sons, face imminent servitude, imprisonment, or death. Her brother, fated to be heir twice over and unite. Her brother, fated to be heir twice over and unite the warring kingdoms, is dead. Stripped of her mind magic and her freedom, Bryony and the other survivors are quickly auctioned off to the highest bidders in an auction. Auctioned off to the highest bidders in an auction. Okay. That's a bit weird, right? A weird way to word that. Anyway. And as the heir's apparent sister, she fetches the highest price. After a fierce bidding war, she sold to none other than Tovin, a high-ranking Bombard's son, and her long-time and ill-fated infatuation. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, this sounds very, very similar to Alchemized, which I absolutely love because I have an Alchemized-sized hole in my heart, and I have done ever since reading that book. Don't think I've had another 5-star since. When did I finish that? I only finished that last month. But, I mean, I say 5. That was a 6-star read for me. I've got a whole reading vlog of it up, if you're interested. But anyway, yeah, so I want to read it. I just hope it's not, like, really like Alchemized, because I fear if it's on the brink of copy, it won't hit for me as much, because I'm just going to be thinking, like, where's the originality? But, saying that, I don't know which book came first. I'm assuming it is Alchemized because Manacled has been out for years. So, I believe I'm right in that. If I'm wrong, don't shoot me. Actually, I think I'm right. Rose and Chains came out this year, didn't it? I always doubt myself, but you know what? I actually think I'm right about this. Yeah. I'm right. So yeah, if it feels very, very similar, then I don't know how I'll feel about it, because that kind of irks me sometimes. I've said that in my 24-hour readathon where I read Diabound. The fact that it was so copy and paste of Fourth Wing for the first 50% made me not enjoy it as much. I did enjoy the back end of the book, but like the first bit, it honestly felt like I was just rereading Fourth Wing in a different font, and it kind of annoyed me. So I really hope that doesn't happen with this one, but I have high hopes. I just need like a good love story, a good enemies to lovers, just that kind of thing. Like, oh, that's what I need. So let's hope that this is one that I really enjoy. So on that note, I'm going to quickly check how many pages we need to read tomorrow, which is Tuesday, which is 143, so pretty much the same as what we read today. So hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. I'm probably going to read like a chapter or two this evening. It's nearly 8:30, so I'm going to wind down in a minute, get into bed, maybe read a chapter or two. But I am in London tomorrow evening after work, because I'm going to meet Olivia Blake. She's doing like a talk at the Waterstones in Piccadilly to talk about Girl Dinner, her new book, which I haven't actually read yet, so I'm really hoping there's nothing spoilery at this event. But I'm going to that in the evening, so I should be able to, I'll read on the train there and back, so hopefully that will help. But I'm also going to go to the gym early tomorrow morning, and I will be taking my Kindle for the Stairmaster. So I feel positive we can do it. I mean, I've read over the 147 today, so far we're doing okay. We've been doing it. We're on day 2. I've been doing well. So fingers crossed for tomorrow, and yeah, I will let you know how that goes and check in probably after I get back from London or just before I go. We'll see. But anyway, that's currently where we are. Guys, I was not aware there are dragons in this. There are dragons in this. Alchemized did not have dragons. Excited. Update because it is now Tuesday. I really hope it's not echoing here. I'm in the outhouse because I'm currently on my lunch break, but I thought I'd quickly update you because we did have 143 pages to do today, and I finished on page page 39 in Rose and Chains yesterday, and I think I need to get to page 187, I think that's 143 pages more. So the aim is to get to 147, no, the aim is to get to 187 by this evening. So I'm currently on page 120. So I feel like it's doable. I'm going to London this evening, obviously, so I will be reading on the train to and from. So I feel like that will help. I've read a little bit on my lunch break, and I did read this morning when I was at the gym on the Stairmaster. So I feel like we're doing well. I feel like we're on the right track to be able to reach the number of pages for today, which is very good. I read over my pages yesterday. I think I read like 170 something. So I went over on Sunday and went over on Monday. So I feel like we've done pretty well. Don't know if I'll be getting over my pages for today because I've got a bit more on. But I feel like it's going well so far. Percentage wise, I am 20% into Rose and Chains. I don't really have much to say, to be honest. I don't want to say anything too early on. I feel like it's better if I say something, I mean, I'm like middle ground, but I will say it's reading very similar to Alchemized. There are definitely a few things that are slightly different, but as a whole, I can see why people compare it and say it's like Alchemized, because I do feel that similarity, if you will. I believe they actually both were originally Draco and Hermione fan fictions, so maybe there's something like that to it, I don't know. But the premise of the book with the war, like them being in a war currently, is the exact same. The way certain women are treated, and just women as a whole, to be honest, are treated, is very similar. And yeah, there's just a few things. I don't want to say too much because I'm sure things will switch up soon, but I will say, yeah, immediately when I started the book, I was like, oh, okay, I see why people say this is like Alchemized, because it is. I don't know if I like that or not currently. I think because I loved Alchemized so much, nothing will ever hit that for me. And I'm not comparing it to Alchemized, but I feel like it makes me think of Alchemized. So I'm kind of thinking like, oh, this was done this way and this was done this way. I will say there are dual timelines. So we only get her point of view, but we're getting past and present, which is very similar to Alchemized again, but Alchemized did it in chunks. So like part 1 was present day, part 2 was the past and like finding everything out that happened, and then part 3 was like back to like present day and what was going on and their kind of situation. So yeah, but this one is obviously written differently. There's just sporadic here and there of like them together, them knowing each other, as in male main character and female main character, them knowing each other previously and then them in their current situation. So that is one of the similarities as well, but obviously the whole writing style and the way it's written is very different. But yeah, anyway, as a whole, that's kind of all I have to say. Very similar to Alchemized. I am enjoying it. I hope we get something a little bit different, and I feel like I'm hoping the plot kind of picks up, because we're 20% in and not much has happened. Like if I'm thinking about where they started part one, if I'm thinking about where our characters were chapter 1 to where they are now, which is chapter, I don't know what I'm on, but 100 odd pages in, not much has happened, not much has moved, but we have had 2 chapters where we flipped into the past. So I'm hoping after this, because I'm currently in a chapter where they're in the past, I'm hoping after that it will pick up again, because I feel like it's been a bit slow. But other than that, I'm not complaining. I'm still having a good time, but yeah, we will see, and I will let you know how I get on. While I'm here, maybe I will let you know the pages for tomorrow, because I don't think I'm going to have time to check in before like tomorrow morning. I'm going to quickly go grab my phone and I'll check. So on Wednesday last week, I picked up my phone 91 times. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can. So like really probably the lowest day of all the days. So that's good. That gives me a little bit of an easier day, I guess. Although I haven't really found it difficult so far. They could be famous last words. But I haven't found it too bad the past 3 days. So we will see how we go. But tomorrow and Wednesday we'll be reading, did I say 91? I think it was 91. Yep, reading 91 pages. But I will check in and let you know if I hit the goal for today at some point. Hello everyone, so it is now Wednesday and I thought I would check in with you because obviously I think I said yesterday we had 91 pages to read today, which we have hit. I'm going to double check how many pages I've read today because I actually can't remember. So we started on page 179. Oh, hold on. So I needed to get to 270 and I've read to 298 so far. So we've hit over the 91 pages, which is great. We've done it for today. I don't know if I spoke about yesterday. I don't think I have. So yesterday we had 143 pages and I just missed it. I read 137. I believe it was 137. Actually, do you know what? I wrote it down. Acting like I can't find out. 139. So I was really, really close, but obviously I was at an event in London yesterday to meet Olivia Blake and talk about her new book Girl Dinner, which I do now have a physical signed copy of, so I'm really, really excited to read that at some point. But yeah, I was just knackered. I got home and literally went straight to bed because I was so tired and I just couldn't force myself to read anymore. So, update on thoughts actually, because we are now 53% into Rose and Chains. I have such conflicting thoughts on this book, to be honest. It's an interesting one. If I was to summarise this book so far, I would honestly have to say it is a worse version of Alchemised. Sorry. But I did say it was very similar to Alchemised. It is very similar to Alchemised, and I'm trying not to compare them. I'm really trying to keep them separate. However, when it is so glaringly similar, like the plot is similar, that is the only similarity. The world is different, the magic system is different, but like the actual plot and what happens, like the way the plot is flowing and how things are happening and just the premise of it is just very, very similar. I will preface this by saying Alchemised is definitely a war book, heavy war book, and this one is more of a romantasy war book. Like the romance is a much more pinnacle part of this book than the war. The war is definitely a big point, but like the romance is the main thing. Whereas Alchemised, I feel like the romance comes second and the war story and what's happening in the world and the things that they're going through is a much bigger thing, and it's the main focus of the book. So yeah, it's just the fact that it's so similar to Alchemised just takes me out of it. Like I just feel like I'm reading a book I've already read. So I'm kind of hoping it switches. I'm kind of hoping that something will happen or like something will change. There are differences, but as a whole it is reading very, very similar to me, and that is kind of just like ruining the experience personally. And also Alchemised was like a 6-star read for me, like nothing can top that, and reading something so similar, I'm like, and I did check, by the way, I've checked my resources. Alchemised, well, Manacled, which is the original version of Alchemised, was published in 2018 in parts, between 2018 to 2019 on whatever fan fiction page it was published on, and Rose and Chains was originally called the Auction, and that started being published in 2019. So Alchemised / Manacled did come first. I double checked that because like I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to say Rose and Chains is not a copy but like very similar to Alchemised. If it's the other way around, it's not the other way around. That is how it was published. That's how they came out. So yeah, as a whole, I'm enjoying it. It's not bad and it's not unenjoyable. Like it's fun, but it's not great. I think we're probably sitting at like a 3 personally. Because of that, if it had a more original storyline and plot, cool, but it just feels like Alchemised. Like, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling because I don't want to talk bad on the book. It's still fun if you want like a fun, easy read. Oh, although I say easy, the other thing I will say is the world building feels very majorly undeveloped to me. I feel like you get thrown in and the world is not explained. There's not much detail. There are a lot of characters introduced quite early on and they are not very well explained as well, because I'm reading it and they'll mention characters and I'm like, who? Like, who is that? Like, some will be mentioned so briefly, but then they'll come up like throughout the book and I'm like, we should have delved a bit more into who that was, and I feel like there should have been more detail, personally. And And I will say I did see one review. I'm going to quickly read part of it. I think it was a 2-star review actually. That I saw. Oh, where is it? Oh, I found it. So I'm only going to read part of this review, it doesn't spoil anything, but this really summarises very well how I'm currently feeling in the book. Obviously this could change, but this is how I'm currently feeling. So this review is by, I think it's Anna, I don't know, she rated 2 stars. But she said, the world building is where the book completely lost me. It feels like the author just threw out a bunch of names, titles and magic systems with zero explanation, expecting the reader to just catch on. By the time I stopped being confused and started trying to make sense of things, I was already too exhausted to care. It's like the book assumed you knew everything already, which for someone new to this universe was a massive turn-off. As for the magic system, I don't mind heart magic versus mind magic as a concept, but it wasn't explored in a way that made it feel central to the story. It felt like it was just another element added into an already overloaded world. And then it says the pacing was agonisingly slow. I agree with that. I feel like the pacing is very slow. Not slow in the atmospheric tension building way. No, this was just painfully slow. The first half dragged on so much that I seriously contemplated DNFing. When something important did happen, it didn't have any emotional weight because none of the characters had been developed enough for me to care about their struggles. I really, really agree with that, because I'm not going to give anything away, but there's something that happens to one of the characters and I feel like there should have been an emotional impact, and I was just like, cool, next page, because I have no connection to them, I don't care about them, I've barely seen them or heard of them, or there's no connection with the reader and them, and I feel like that was meant to have probably a bit more emotional impact and it didn't hit me in the slightest. Like, there were a few people and I just was like, cool. And then, okay, so there's also this about the romance, and it says, Bryony and Toven's romance was completely forced. I could never understand why Toven was drawn to Bryony in the first place. The slow building tension between them wasn't earned, it was just there because the plot demanded it. I feel like the author wasn't trying hard enough to make the romance convincing, like a slow burn romance, but this book completely missed the mark entirely with it. There were so many flashbacks which I guess were also meant to flesh out Toven's feelings for Bryony, but they only felt like filler, and frankly I just wasn't interested in them at all. So I'm not going to go into too much more, but I mean, this is a completely spoiler-free review, but I massively agree with a lot of what this review says. So I'm just praying that my opinion kind of changes, because yeah, currently we're looking at like a generous 3, probably like a 2.5, if I'm being honest. Anyway, moving on, because I feel bad, but it is good. But yeah, I'm never gonna lie. So that is just where we're at. So tomorrow is Thursday, and I think I'm gonna finish this on Saturday. I don't think I'm gonna do Sunday because I need to edit and stuff. So I think we're gonna do this till Saturday. God, my words are getting all mixed up. But to check in for Thursday's number of pages, we have 148, if you can see that. So we will be trying to read 148 pages on Thursday, which I feel like is hopefully doable. I do have a nail appointment in the evening because my nails are quite outgrown right now. So that will probably be a little bit more difficult, but as a whole, I feel like it's still doable. But yeah, I'm going to still read a little bit tonight. So we've gone over majority of the days minus yesterday when I was under. But other than that, I feel like we've done quite well. So I'm going to stop rambling. I feel like I've spoken a lot about this book. I probably won't give an update now. I think I will just leave it to the end for like my actual review and opinion, because I feel like I've given you a lot of yap about my current opinion, and we may as well just let me get to the end and find out. So yeah, what time is it now? It's now 8:30 on Wednesday, so I'm going to go back to reading and then I'm going to go to bed, and then I will pick up with you guys probably tomorrow or Friday, depending on how my day goes, and let you know how we're getting on, what pages and everything like that. So tomorrow 148 pages, and I will catch up with you later on. Hello everyone, so it's now Thursday and I thought I would update because for today's number of pages, we had 148, and I started on page 336, so I had to read until page 484 today, and I've just checked and I've actually read to page 503, so we have hit the number of pages for today, which is great. I'm also only 45 minutes, I've only got, 45 minutes left in this book. I don't think I'm going to finish it tonight. I might. I don't know, it's already 9:10, which I know is very early for a lot of people, but I will be waking up at 5:15 for the gym tomorrow morning, so I need to like get into bed. I'm going to try and read the rest of it if I can, but yeah, we will see. Anyway, I thought I would quickly also check my pages for tomorrow, which is Friday. So I give you a quick heads up on what we'll be reading. I'm not going to go into my thoughts on what's it called? What book am I reading? Rose in Chains, because I feel like I've spoken about that a lot. So I'm going to wait until I finish it, which will probably be tomorrow or this evening. So you'll definitely have an update from me at some point. But I've just had a look, and the number of pages for Friday is 146, so I feel like they're all really similar numbers. Obviously we had 91 yesterday, but like they're all falling in the 147. I think we've had 143, 148, 146. And what were the other ones? 90 and 91. So they've all been relatively around the same. So I feel like that will hopefully be doable. I'm actually out for my friend's birthday tomorrow, so I won't be at home at all in the evening. So it might be a little bit harder. It probably will be a little bit harder because I'm going out, but we're going to try. Also, I have gone over every day, and I haven't moved any of the extra, like the excess like day pages. I haven't used any of them to like make up for missing any of the other days, if that makes sense. I've only missed one, but I haven't like moved the pages. So part of me is like, well, if I struggle on Friday because I'm out, maybe I'll let myself off, because I have read over the number of pages majority of the days. Also, I got my nails done earlier. How cute. I got like this red, and then I got like a little, okay, it's really not focusing on my nails, but these little white dots. I just thought I'd do something a little bit different. But anyway, that is it. I don't want to keep rambling too much, but when I next speak to you, hopefully I'll be done with Rose in Chains, and I will update on how we're getting on with Friday. I thought I would update on my current reading because it's now Saturday, and I don't think I updated it at all on Friday. If I did, I don't think I said much, but I was meant to read, I think 143, was it 48? I think it was 148 now I'm thinking about it. But I was meant to read 148 pages yesterday, and I ended up reading 48 because I ended up obviously going out. I didn't get any reading done really, other than on my lunch break. So, Saturday, I don't know how many pages I had for today, but I haven't read anything, and it is now 5 PM. So I feel like I'm just going to close off the video now, because I'm only probably going to read a few pages the rest of this evening, like a little bit. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to read much, and I wanted to pause this video here because I need to get it edited and uploaded soon. So we're going to stop it here. So as an overview of the week, I read, what did I read? I think I was meant to read 140 something most days apart from Wednesday. So let's just round up to say 150. So on Monday I ended up reading about 200 pages, I think. So we passed that on Monday, and on Tuesday I read 139. We didn't hit the goal for Tuesday, but on Wednesday I was meant to read 91, and I did read 157. And then on Thursday I think I was meant to read 140 something again, but I read 207, so we went past that. Friday I fell under, and then today, I don't even know, it's probably the similar amount, 100 and something, and I haven't hit it. So I feel like it's a bit mixed. I feel like probably, maybe if I added in the pages extra that I read, I might have hit more. I feel like I would have hit Tuesdays, and I potentially would have hit, I don't know about today's. Oh no, I think I would have hit today's as well. If I move, like add the extra pages I did on the other days to today and disperse them a little bit, then I pretty much did actually cover the correct amount of pages, just not all on the right days. So I'd say it's like a half win. I still read a lot. I don't know how many pages in total we've read since I just started this. Because did I start this on Sunday? Sorry, my mind is everywhere. I went out last night, didn't feel great this morning, a little bit hungover, and then I went out for brunch with 2 of my friends, and then we went out shopping. I spent the whole day just like spending time with them, and then yeah, I've got home and I'm just like exhausted and I just want to chill and sleep. Well, not sleep just yet, but like just chill, unwind, take my makeup off, have a chilled one. So in total I have no idea how many pages we've read, but maybe I'll put it somewhere once I figure that out. But just a quick update on Girl Dinner. I'm only 48 pages in, so we haven't made much progress, but I am enjoying it. It seems really interesting. We get 2 point of views. We get Sloane, who is like this older woman. I think she's like mid-30s, and she's had her first child, and she's at the stage where she's just going back to working, which she's a professor at university. And then it's really interesting seeing her dynamic, like being a new mum, her husband, all this kind of different situations. And then we've got Nina's point of view, and she is just started, I think, university, and she's trying to get into a sorority. So it sounds really interesting, and I feel like they're about to cross over because Alex, the head of the sorority that Nina wants to get into, has just asked Sloane to be their faculty advisor. So I feel like this is when the stories are going to merge and the characters are going to start crossing paths. So I feel like we're at a key point where it's going to start to get a little bit more interesting. We've got the background, we kind of sussed out who our characters are and their characteristics. And I am enjoying it. I love Olivia Blake's writing. She's one of my favourite authors. And this is obviously, I think, did I show this? I don't know, but I went obviously to her signing the other day. I've still got my sticker in there. I need to take that out, actually. But yeah, this is one of my prized possessions now that I have a signed book by her. I had no idea she was doing a signing, so I wish I'd known, because I would have taken my other books by her, but I was unaware. So maybe next time. But as a whole, I feel like we've done quite well. This book I'm enjoying. I don't know if it's going to be in another reading vlog. It might actually feature in a different video, so maybe you'll get a full update in a different reading vlog. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to close off here. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know if you've read any of the books I spoke about today, and hopefully I will see you again very soon.